Who I believe to be the true birthers of choosing beggars, it's entitled parents. Our first one is from Motolicious Baby. 21 female. I haven't seen my father and stepmother in 5 years after struggling with a controlling and emotionally abusive environment growing up. I've grown a lot in personality, body, and opinion since then. The last time I was with this side of my family, I wore high-waisted jeans and a cropped sweater. I was not developed and didn't really have breasts or hips. I reached for a glass, which caused my sweater to lift and show a small bit of my midriff, and my stepmom freaked out, claiming I was being disrespectful to her household, inappropriate, and giving my siblings unchristian influences. She forced my father to sit me down and give me a talk about modesty, etc., and it was finally the last straw. I have a lot more stories about my childhood. Granted, I was 16, but my bio mom purchased the sweater for me and did not think it was at all inappropriate to wear. Fast forward to now. As an adult at 21, owning my own house and car, completing school and making a name for myself, one of my siblings has requested me to visit for their birthday. I agreed as I hold nothing against my younger siblings, and I'm excited to try and be the beacon of independence for them to look up to. Tattoos, piercings, and attitude included. I was surprised this morning to wake up to messages from my stepmother reminding me to respect their household and their Christian views by dressing modestly and conservative, which took me right back to the moment when I was 16, being shamed about having a stomach to show. I am now a woman with large breasts and hips, and no matter what I wear, my curves will show that I am in fact an adult. She requested I send her photos of what I plan to pack, which just rubbed me the wrong way. I chose whatever in my closet seemed the most conservative, and shockingly, she seemed okay with it. So rather than wear the cute crop tops I've recently been into, both cool for the summer and also helping me overcome my previous insecurities, I opted for some tank tops, jeans, a few t-shirts, and a dress that shows off my spine tattoo. I am here asking y'all if you think I'll be ridiculed in front of my entire family about my breasts in the tank top or my jeans being too tight, and what all comebacks you guys might have. I understand it's their household, but it's my body, and I just feel like I'm being criticized not because I'm not modest, but because my stepmom just has something against me. I need to mentally prepare for this trip so that it doesn't make my anxiety and depression I've worked so hard to control go into a tailspin. Opinions, advice, and solutions 100% welcomed. Thank you in advance. I'm of the mentality that you're right, it's your body. You should be able to feel comfortable in your own body, and that also includes the clothing you wear. On top of that, just think you're going for your siblings, not your stepmom. This next one is by Doodlebug Rocket. Trigger warning: physical abuse, emotional mental abuse, sexual abuse, slight mention of COVID quarantine, and suicide attempts. Alright, a little backstory. This happened in 2020 and parts of 2021, so I was 13 and 14 in this. My brother is 2 years older than me. We were staying at my stepdad's house during all of this, and I couldn't see anyone else or tell anyone because my bio dad was surrounded by COVID all the time. My brother would always say how my bio dad was very abusive, and this isn't true. My dad just wouldn't let my brother do whatever he wanted with no consequences. So now for the actual story. When COVID-19 began, me, my mom, and my brother moved into my stepdad's house. Even before this, my brother was constantly just bullying, name-calling, occasional punches, and things like that. Me, and my mother wouldn't ever do anything about it. It only got worse during 2020. My interests and hobbies are the complete opposite from theirs, so it's hard to relate. They would constantly belittle me, and not just joking around either, I mean constantly, and I started to go into my shell as a way to protect myself. My brother also began to get physically abusive. He would hit me, punch me, not let me sleep for hours, and a lot more. I would go to my mom for help with very clear evidence like bruises and cuts, but she would never do anything. On the very rare occasion that she would do something, she would just send me and my brother outside to sort out our differences. I would get on my bike and just try to get away, but my brother would constantly follow me and continue to torment me. I would get so upset and distraught that I'd just break down. I would be sobbing uncontrollably, snot coming out of my nose, red in the face, a complete mess. My brother would take pictures and videos of me and then post on social media. I begged my mom for help nearly every day and she still wouldn't do anything. I don't really like to talk about this part, but my brother sexually molested me a few times and I felt like trash. I had nothing. My self-esteem was shit. I had no friends, nothing to distract myself with, nobody to tell, nothing. One time I tried to tell my stepfather, who looked up for a period of time, but he would do the same as my mom. He called me a sissy wee-wah and said that people are putting weak thoughts into your mind. This was when I truly hit rock bottom. I turned to excessive eating as a coping mechanism, and my weight skyrocketed as a result. Eventually, I was able to see my dad again. I was so happy, but I never told him in fear of what my brother would do to me. I would alternate between houses between October 2020 and February of 2021. On a day that I will long remember, February 15th, 2021, I put my foot down. I was supposed to return to my stepdad's house, but I said no. To make a long story short, my mom was shocked and devastated. She then proceeded to say how awful of a person I was and how, "You only care about yourself." She said, "You need to love me. I am your mother." I ended up not returning to my stepdad's house, but many attempts to get me to go back ensued. I attempted suicide many times. Even though I was no longer being abused, I still felt like human filth. Since then, I've not returned to my stepdad's house, but my mom tried to get me to see her and my brother. I am doing somewhat better, but yeah, I don't like my mom to say the least. First of all, I'm so sorry that you even had to deal with that. Nobody should go through that level of abuse, especially considering the fact that when you spoke up, your parents, well, your mom and stepdad discouraged you. I would 100% tell your dad, because at least then, maybe some form of justice could be had, and you could see what legal avenues you could take to get your brother and mom to be held accountable. And our final one is from Tom and Jerry Are Dead. Right, I am on mobile and I'm really bad at spelling for some reason, so sorry in advance for any spelling mistakes. There's not a specific story in this, it is just a bunch of things to do with my mom, so I can get opinions, as I'm not sure, but I've been told my mom is entitled with the few people I have told about this. I'm 13, my sister is 18, my mom is in her late 30s. You can get an idea of the age gaps of my family. Right, so my mom was not always this bad. She was nice at first, and then she met a Karen, who is not part of this, but she is a friend of my mom, and I think this is where my mom got her entitlement from. She started this when I was 10, and my sister was 14 or 15. We're 4.5 years apart, hence the 14 to 15. She started leaving every day to hang out with the Karen, even though she says she is never out and she never gets any time away from me and my sister. She's actually the one out now when I'm writing this, and my sister was left in charge of me. Even though my sister just slept and never took care of me, so I was left taking care of myself, and even had to teach myself how to cook so I could eat. I also get blamed for every single thing that goes wrong in this house. I'll give you something that happened like a week or two ago as an example. My mom was out, and when she came back, one of her pillows had fallen off her bed, knocked something off her bedside table, and whatever fell went and broke a plate that was on the floor. My sister says she has it bad. Like, I get my mom treats her as a babysitter, but she doesn't even babysit me. I also get blamed for my mom's mental health issues. Also, just one more thing that happened on my birthday, which was last week. I made it extremely clear to my mom that I was incredibly uncomfortable with happy birthday being sang to me in public. I'm pretty sure I have social anxiety or even just anxiety with how I am, but not been diagnosed as she does not believe me, so she won't take me to get me checked for it. What does she do? She sings it in public. Twice. Still confused on why my family also sang it when they could see I was uncomfortable. I was even trying to hide under the table that was uncomfortable. My mom also had the audacity to say I was the one who ruined my own birthday. Well, that's it. Sorry if it seemed like I'm ranting, but I just want your guys' opinion on if she's entitled or not, so I went into quite a few things. There is more, but I don't want to type it all out and would also make this extremely long. Thanks for reading. I originally wrote this 4 or 5 days ago. I can't remember how many days ago it was, but I needed to wait a couple days as this is an alt account so my sister does not see and get me in trouble. My sister always looks at my phone without my permission, and I'm not allowed to change the password, so she knows my original Reddit username. I will say something that happened 2 days ago. So me and my mom both have asthma, and she went to see a doctor about it for both of us. What does she do for every question almost? Lies and makes it seem like I was in the wrong. She also said she did not smoke when she does. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say your mom is definitely entitled, especially with the way she acts and then trying to blame you for everything else. Yeah, I'd say she's 100% entitled. Secondly, trying to lie to a medical professional while you're trying to get assistance for an issue isn't really gonna help you get the true assistance you need for said issue. I really hope going forward things improve for you and that you don't have to deal with as much drama. Alright. That's enough entitlement for the day. Well, that wraps up this episode of Entitled Parents. If you liked the video, please drop a like, share my content on all of your social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload, and drop a comment down below. It really helps with the algorithm and helps new people find my channel. Thanks for watching, thanks to my patrons, have a great day and stay safe out there.